I would like to thank you, Professor Hani, for inviting me to give this talk. I'm happy that my first day after holidays is with you. So now I will present the general knowledge about the NADES. But first, I would like to say some things about our institute. So I'm from University of Novi Sad. As you can see, the campus on our slides and our premises of the institute. So first, I would like to introduce our team. Our team is quite young when it is about NADES. First time we introduced it with NADES when we had the twinning project with Professor Choi. That was the first time I met with the NADES, and since then I started work with them. So on these slides is our team. Even we are from the different institutions, we work as a one. And our research is focused on the extraction of bioactive compounds and biomass valorization using resin extraction techniques. So, and NADES from now on. And but also our goal is to incorporate this green extract into everyday products with the close collaboration with the industry. So my presentation is more general about natural deep eutectic solvents with their potential use as sustainable green solvents in extraction, while my colleague Nemanja Teslić will present some of our results we obtained using NADES for valorization of byproducts from the food industry. So lately you can hear a lot of words as green, sustainable, bioeconomy, white valorization. And with the increasing requirements of the customers for green and environmental, so green chemistry has become one of the research hotspots. So in order to keep process sustainable, we have to mind consumer requires and environmental protection, but also the profit from the industry point of view. So on the green extraction concept on one side, we have to make a balance with the economical concept. So green challenge is not as easy as it may appears. One of the most important aims of green chemistry has been to find green extraction for extraction bioactive compounds from natural sources in order to replace currently used organic hazard compounds, solvents. So this seems to be a smart direction when it's considering the current environmental changes, but it also requires companies to be more creative and smart and to invest in new processes. So one way to make change in the green extraction is its extraction process itself. So using green solvent, the sustainable extraction is the right way to go through. Subcritical and supercritical fluids as a solvents, they already find their place, and now is the turn for natural deep eutectic solvents. So natural deep eutectic solvents were firstly defined by Professor Abbott as a low melting temperature mixture of two mostly solid compounds. So these natural eutectic solvents are new generation of the solvents, and they present the alternative to toxic organic solvents. The constituents are primary metabolites, non-toxic and biocompatible. And what is the important sustainable? They are easy to find in nature. So they have been proposed as an alternative class of solvents. So why they are why they are characterized as a solvents of new generation? Well, because they have several advantages over the volatile organic solvents. They are liquid with the wide temperature range, which is important in extraction processes at elevated temperature. They have insignificant volatility, so they are stable, they don't evaporate. They are chemically and thermally stable, and they are non-flammable comparing to the lot of organic solvents. They are known as simple and easy preparation with high purity without waste. So when you prepare NADES, you have to 100% yield of the solvents. And what is the most important, they are generally composed of non-toxic substance occurring naturally in food. So as they are from the food, from the plant, so they can be easily incorporated in further food products and formulation without additional purification steps, which is the major advantage over conventional solvents, organic one, where you need to purify it from the solvents. So these solvents already find a wide application for biomass valorization in different areas, as you can see on the slides. So as I already told, NADES are composed from natural origin compounds, abundantly present in the future, in nature. They compose from organic bond donor and organic bond acceptor, which interact by hydrogen bonding, leading to the formation of eutectic mixture by lowering the pressure of the melting point and becoming liquid. So on the slide, we can see the graph of the drop-down temperature when parent compounds are mixed in the particular ratio. So important words is in particular ratio, because not all ratios of the solvent of the parent compounds can make the NADES. So the usual hydrogen bond donors are non-toxic quaternary ammonium salts, amino acid, while organic acid or carbohydrate are hydrogen bond donor. Alcohols, amine and aldehydes, ketones and carboxylic groups, they can have dual behavior, and they can be also hydrogen bond donors and hydrogen bond acceptors. So using combination of mentioned parent compounds for NADES, unlimited number of combination can be prepared. You can see that is very huge number. Nature of the interaction that take the place in NADES formation depends on the type of the selected initial compounds, but charge delocalization is occurring via hydrogen bond bonding between hydrogen bond acceptor and hydrogen bond donor, and van der Waals interaction interfere with the ability of the initial compounds to crystallize. So, and there are several methods of preparation of the NADES. The most common one is by heating and the stirring. This method is economical and enable easy control of the temperature and formation of the NADES, which is of the high importance when you are using like thermal unstable components as a sugar. Also, you have to keep in mind the properties of NADES, price, temperature which you use in time-consuming preparation, and purity of the obtained NADES. There are several more methods in literature preparation, but you have to choose your one according to your needs. For example, we have tried microwave preparation methods, but when we reproduce condition of the some NADES, we were not very satisfied because caramelization occurred. NADES was not completely synthesized if we were not add water, and it was more time consuming as we expect. So we come back to old stir and heat methods. Some authors suggest that this stirring and heating method is not really appropriate for some NADES combination as are choline fluoride and carboxylic acid, because some of impurities can can occur in this reaction because of mostly because of heating. So these authors suggest the alternative grinding preparation methods. But I think if you control your heat right, and you will have no problem with these methods, heating and stirring for the preparation. And as an NADES, we are using it, and it's shown to be good for preparation. A lot of NADES we have prepared by now. So to be used in various processes as a solvent, we need to know physicochemical properties of the solvents. The acquired knowledge of their properties, such as density, conductivity, viscosity, and polarity of NADES, are very crucial for the industrial application and for the design of equipment and the processes. So if, as are NADES, tailor-made solvents, choice of initial compounds for their preparation is crucial for this. The physicochemical properties of NADES are dependent upon the hydrogen bond donor and can be easily tailored for specific application by the choice of the starter compounds. So addition of water can affect really physicochemical properties. And in this case, we need to be very careful because a lot of papers are in the scientific literature where they discuss the addition of the waters. Actually, what is the limit of the water that can be added to not disrupt the NADES structure? So as you can see on this graph, recommended range to stay in the water addition is around 30%. So that is the amount of water that will not disrupt the NADES structure. So the viscosity and polarity, I would say, are the most important characteristic of these solvents. In the literature, there has been widely reported because it's very important for the industrial application. So, for example, viscosity is a big problem when it comes about to sugar NADES compounds. They are very viscous, they are honey-like, and their viscosity needs to be reduced or by adding the water or by applying a heat during this extraction, or it can be reduced by the by the choice of the compounds used for the NADES preparation. So depends of the alkyl chain you use or presence of hydroxylic but carboxylic group may depends your viscosity. So when it comes to polarity, NADES can be hydrophilic and hydrophobic. Among the hydrophilic NADES, organic acid base are the most polar one. They are followed by amino acid and pure sugar-based NADES, with the polarity similar to water. And sugar and polyalcohol-based NADES, they are least polar, with the polarity close to the methanol. Hydrophilic acids usually exhibit high solubilization capacity for polar metabolites due to the inherent high polarity, but they could be also applied for non-water soluble metabolites. For now, we used to use a polarity similar to similar, but when it is NADES, polarity is not the main characteristic of the solvents and for the metabolites or actually target compounds which want to be extracted. Hydrophilic NADES have been utilized for less polar compounds, and there are, I would say, more new solvents than the hydrophilic solvents, and they are characteristic for the low viscosity, and that's why they are very interesting. That it can be very easy to work with them. So now when we go through some important physicochemical properties and how to tune them, there is a here are some reminder which is the most important when you choose your NADES combination for biomass valorization and potential utilization of the NADES-based extract in food, pharmaceutical, or cosmetic industry. So here I present some example of NADES which our group prepared and tested for the extraction of various bioactive molecules, but we are mostly targeted phenolics and carotenoid compounds. So in literature, you can find a lot of NADES combination with choline chloride. Choline chloride was one of the first NADES prepared, and a lot of combination with choline chloride are present in the literature, and mostly choline chloride based NADES are one of the best for the obtaining a high extraction yield. But if you want to NADES based extract, for example, in cosmetics, you have to be aware of the compounds you can use, as choline chloride is not allowed to be used in cosmetics. In Europe, we need to find another similar NADES, which can be used for this application, and that is the mostly betaine. So, for example, hydrophobic based NADES, as fatty acid NADES and the menthol based NADES can be a good choice for example, cosmetics industry, because there are often ingredients by itself in the various cosmetics preparation. So when it's come about food application, we have prepared NADES for example, with levulinic acid, which gave the best yield of the targeted compounds from that plant we used. But there is no way that we can use it for the food application, because it has very bad smell. So sensorial properties of NADES based extract may play a key role for further application in food products, and this is the research area which still should be more defined and explored. So by appropriate combination of NADES, these solvents can be used in various sectors. According to the application, they can contribute to sustainable development goals, which are set by United Nations. Using NADES in different areas, we can directly or indirectly contribute to 11 of the 17 sets of the goals. So we are mostly focused on extraction ability of the natural compounds during the extraction and the storage, but these solvents can find their application also in drug delivery system for poorly soluble compounds. Now also a new generation of therapeutic dieutectic solvents is present in the literature. These NADES can be used for carbon dioxide capture, for biodiesel production, for processing of lignin celluloses. Now green principles are very present also in analytics, and these solvents are used for the analytical procedures, pre-cleaning analytical procedures, and analyze. So clean water is one of the very important goals which have to be set, and NADES find their role in here, mostly hydrophobic, and there are they were very successful for the removal of metals, pesticides, antibiotics. NADES also can be used as in plastic additives and in the preparation of active packaging. We know that packaging and packaging materials had very huge impact on the environment. So when use NADES in their preparation, which are biodegradable though, they improve the environmental protection. So in the light of bioeconomy and Green Deal strategies, application of green solvents and novel extraction techniques at optimized extraction condition can lead to zero waste of herbal material, because bioactive compounds are completely exhausted from the material. So in order to enhance and speed up the extraction process and increase the yield of bioactive compounds, NADES solvents are mostly combined with the ultrasound-assisted extraction and microwave-assisted extraction, because they speed up the extraction and, of course, disrupting the cell walls of plant material. They enhance better extraction of the compounds. So in the previous slides, ultrasound-assisted extraction and microwave-assisted extraction are used in the enhanced extraction using the NADES as a solvent. But performing the second extraction or successive extraction is the way we want to go, because when we use successive extraction, whether applying the different extraction methods or solvents, we are obtaining the better yield and the better exhausted of the bioactive compounds, and the waste has no any additional value. So we are going towards a zero waste production. So one of the interesting successive extraction I have found recently in the literature are proposed by these authors you can see on the screen. This is very interesting approach, because sequential extraction was used using a different NADES. Actually, NADES different polarities. First was used NADES with the hydrophobic polarity, and more hydrophobic bioactive compounds were isolated from the herbal material. And then after hydrophilic based acid, NADES based acid was applied, and the additional bioactive compounds which remain in the herbal material was extracted. So in this way, plant material was completely exhausted. Another way to successive extraction is, for example, application of the NADES extraction, and thereafter the NADES pressurized liquid extraction was used for the remaining biomass to extract remaining bioactive compounds. So, and I think these are the examples of successive extraction we should keep applied in order to completely exhaust materials and to set our goals and keep with the goals of the green economy and bioeconomy. So one way to follow the novelty and the extraction techniques are switchable NADES. So the concept of the switchable NADES was first, actually not the NADES, but the switchable solvents was firstly proposed by Professor Jessup. So switchable hydrophilic solvents are the new class of solvents that are able to change their nature from the hydrophobic to hydrophilic or otherwise. So switchable system have been created by biphase system composed of hydrophobic liquid base and aqueous layer, but upon addition of the carbon dioxide, the liquid becomes protonated, and the resulting in the solvent that is mixable with water, converting the entire mixture into single phase. Hydrogen bond acceptor that can successfully synthesize switchable NADES include secondary amines, tertiary amines, quaternary ammonium salts, amines, nitrogen containing base, and fatty acids. So completing the extraction and separation process by inducing reversible switching in the single phase and dual phase system has become the focus of the several studies. The advantage of these switchable NADES is easy sample pre-treatment steps. They, in this way, reduced use of the organic solvents is done, and these solvents are easily to be recycled, which matches with the concept of green and sustainable chemistry, and which, when switched, physical properties of the solvents can be switched, including polarity, solubility, and conductivity. And it is important for the extraction of the target compounds. So the switchable system can be achieved beneficial effect using the same kind of solvents to extract different substances separately. So on this slide, we can see that polarity change can be triggered by the several factors, as are addition of CO2, pH change, or temperature change. In this slide, this is an example of the switch where NADES compounds of the fatty acid was used, and by adding the amine solution, mixing a single hydrophobic phase was obtained, demonstrating that the NADES can be switched in the process in situ. The switching mechanism is that the amine is able to create complex with the fatty acids, so the oily phase can be or hydrophobic phase can be entirely dissolved in the water phase, and the whole system becomes hydrophilic. So later, to come back to the hydrophobic system again, carbon dioxide can be bubble injected in the mixture, acidifying occurs, reprotonating of the carboxylate anion of the NADES, and which cause the phase splitting again. So again, we have a hydrophobic in hydrophilic phase. So this is very interesting point of the extraction, because using one solvent, you can extract more polar and less polar compounds, hydrophobic and hydrophilic compounds. So first you do extraction of the hydrophobic compounds, then you convert the NADES, then you switch polarity. Hydrophobic analytes can be separated by filtration and the biomed, and then you can use the same solvents for the extraction of the remaining compounds from the biomass you use. In this work, it's from our laboratory. We use the principles of the switchable solvent to recover carotenoids from the NADES solvents. We wanted to show that if there is a need for the recovery of the compound from the solvents, there is an easy and elegant way. So in this picture, you can see that when this orange extract, NADES-based extract rich in carotenoids was mixed with the water, there was phase separation because it was used fatty acid-based NADES, so there is not mixing with the water. In second phase, there is the addition of the switch, but in this case we used ammonium hydroxide. So this is directly upon the addition, and this is after the stirring. And after the while, you can see, because of the polarity change of the solvent, carotenoids were separated, precipitated from the polar phase. So I think switchable solvents has a very great potential to be used in the extraction. To continue with the recovery of target compounds, I think it's always to use better extract as it is. That's why it is important to select appropriate solvents, actually appropriate compounds for the NADES. And if we choose appropriate compounds for the cosmetics or whether food application, it can be applied whole extract with no need for the purification, which is very important on the industrial and economical point of view. But if you need to recover your analytes from the NADES-based extract, a part of switchable NADES solvents, which are now quite a heat topic in the literature, you can use extraction with another solvents, or use solid phase extraction with absorbents, or precipitation with the water, or the use of carbon dioxide, or some crystallization by cooling or adding antisolvents can be done. So thank you for your attention. I didn't want to be too long, but maybe switchable solvents need to be discussed maybe in the separate presentation, as they has a huge application in the future steps. But I hope I have gave you some new ideas which can you further apply in your work. Thank you. If you have any questions, I am at your disposal.